2023, Ohanese Secretary backs Amechi, says Igbo can't be president. 2023, Ohanese Secretary backs Amechi, says Igbo can't be president. And then you also have in the Punch newspaper, anti-corruption war, Badejo dismisses Buhari's impact as insignificant. Anti-corruption war, Badejo dismisses Buhari's impact as insignificant. And NAS coverage outrage greets satanic guidelines for journalist accreditation. NAS coverage outrage greets satanic guidelines for journalist accreditation. There's sometimes when I see the captions of some stories, I wonder what the editor was thinking. And then federal government invites world leaders to Maiden June 12th Democracy Day. Federal government invites world leaders to Maiden June 12th Democracy Day. In one other story somewhere, I heard Lai Mohammed talking about how Nigeria was safe enough for world leaders to come for the event. So let's move on with the stories proper. And in one of the stories that we read earlier, it was Ohanese Secretary backs Amechi, says Igbo can't be president 2023. That's in the Punch newspaper. And part of the story here reads that he describes Amechi's assertion as true, adding that Igbo denied President Buhari their support. They denied President Muhammadu Buhari presence in the southeast by failing to vote for him. He said Amechi's statement is correct because they betrayed him. They betrayed Indibo. You must have followed the event leading to the confusion where social cultural organization adopted President Muhammadu Buhari without affording Amechi the opportunity of participating in the meeting of Indibo. Amechi is an Igbo man. He's openly said he's Igbo. So why would you deny him the opportunity of participating in the meeting that purportedly endorsed Buhari? Then you denied him the opportunity of presenting his own bulk to the Igbo. Of course, whether we agree or not, politics is reality. By not voting for Buhari and denying him any presence in Igbo land, we have to a large extent, by omission or commission, shut ourselves out of presidency in 2023. That's from the Secretary General of Ohanese Igbo, Uche Okuku. Okuku.
Well, you see, I think Amechi made that comment. More or less, it's part of the things that some of us have said earlier than Amechi even made that comment. The only thing is that ours won't have the banner headline because we are not politicians. I tell you, politics is a game of you do for me, I do for you. And remember,
association.
Yes. Remember that what Amechi is talking about is from APC, not other political parties. Now, APC reached an agreement as it were, even though it may not have been written, that you support us in 2023, we give you the presidency. Now, they didn't support. And the truth is bitter, but it certainly has to be told. You didn't support them, and you are still hoping, for instance, if they are still hoping
that the APC will give them
that, I don't know how it can happen. If you plant rice, you will get rice. Plant yam, you get yam, accordingly. So you didn't support them, then you lost out. Simple. So I think for me, I don't need you to tell me that. I have said it severally, that the Igbos may have a pipe dream in terms of still looking to get from APC the presidential slot.
But
I really don't
but that
believe
doesn't
in
mean that other political parties will not
That's
be able
why I
to
say
fill.
it's
Yes,
about
it's just
APC.
for APC. Yeah,
Yes.
I get your point. All right, let's move away from that. Anti-corruption war, Badejo dismisses Buhari's impact as insignificant. Then you have here the chairman of Wilson Badejo Foundation, Reverend Wilson Badejo, has described the impact of President Muhammadu Buhari's fight against corruption as insignificant. Badejo gave the verdict at his residence in Lagos on Sunday as he celebrated the 10th anniversary of his foundation and the 72nd birthday. Badejo, who is an emeritus general overseer of Foursquare Gospel Church, said the impact of the fight against corruption and the recovery of looted funds have remained insignificant as they've not translated into job opportunities or brought about new lease of life to the teeming youths in our society. Manuel, let me hear your thoughts on this here.
I didn't get exactly what Badejo is talking about from there. I didn't get exactly what he's talking.
He said it hasn't manifested in job opportunities, or it has not brought about a new lease of life for the teeming youths in the society. So the fight against corruption and that the Buhari administration has engaged in, as far as he's concerned, is insignificant.
You say everybody has a right to, in fact, address it, appraise it the way he wants. Like I said sometime in the past, that if you ask me, it's not very holistic. There's no doubt about it, because I remember vividly when lists, or maybe lists, if there were many, was released, and of course you didn't see much of the APC names there. That doesn't mean that some APC members are not going through the ringer of maybe court and all that for corruption's sake. So it's not holistic. But, people may not like my own formula, which I have said severally, that whether anybody accepts it or not, the truth is that this administration has made an effort that we've not seen in this country before in terms of fighting corruption, whether lopsided or otherwise. And as a result that they have done so, if you are telling them, probe your own members, and they refuse, I don't think you'll kill them. I don't think there's any other thing. If you talk from now till any place, you'll keep on talking, and they'll keep on doing what they have chosen. So why not just be patient? Because I believe that they won't. The PDP said they were going to last for 60 years. I think they lasted for 16. This one, I don't know how they are going to.
How long they claim to last.
Yes, but the fact remains that they will leave that seat someday. And if another one comes in, then that one takes it holistically.
All right.
That is my position.
But do you think the fight so far is significant?
Is like Badejo addressed it. Is not significant, I must tell you. But then, it's an effort that has been made along that line.
All right. Okay, we got your thoughts. Joining us, Fine Face, the number 5 Face, public affairs analyst and Mossop spokesman. I used Mossop spokesman because I read the news today and one Mossop spokesman was saying something.
I don't know.
There is no other person. To be a Mossop spokesman is not by appointment or nomination, it's by election. I was elected Mossop spokesman. So whoever is doing that is only trying to impersonate me. And I think that person needs to be arrested and prosecuted.
Wow.
And let's leave that.
No, we can't leave it. We're here. I can't because I want to address it. Because we had story from Sonny Zavo.
Yes.
Yeah, Sonny Zavo is a person handpicked by Lagos Piagbara, the immediate past Mossop president.
Oh, Lagos is not even the Mossop president.
He's not the Mossop president. His tenure expired on 31st December 2018, and a new Mossop president came into office by Arakpalap, who is now the Mossop president. The former spokesman of Mossop that everybody knew is Fegalon Suke. Since he left office, the new person has been elected and put there his mindset.
He's been going around and making statements as Mossop
those are the things you see. Those are the kind of thing we are talking about. People speaking from several mouths in Ogoniland. Because, when the king is not there and when people are trying to elongate their tenure in office, you have this kind of thing happening. So it's unfortunate.
Is it what official vest do you have that shows that you're the elected or you're the authentic?
The official vest I have is that I was elected. My name was in the news as the elected Mossop and spokesman. And ever since then, I've been functioning without questioning.
Okay, good. So have you ever moved into the Mossop office or something like that?
We took over the office and another issue happened again. And as I speak, like I've also said
before. Are you out
before,
of the office now?
We are still in charge of the office, but the matter is in court anyway.
Okay, all right.
But Lagos is still in that office.
He is not in that office.
You see, why I say we leave that thing is too much.
I know it's not too much because
no, it's something we need to handle.
I can't read the news and find that there's a publicity secretary of Mossop, and then somebody comes in later and says, "Well, he's Mossop spokesman."
There's an event in Ogoni just recently, and the Lagos Piagbara was the one that spoke like a Mossop president. I don't know.
No. You are talking about the stakeholders meeting of the Ogoni people. Is it not the same stakeholders meeting that Lagos wanted to speak at Mossop and a microphone was taken away from him? And I shouldn't speak until he was addressed as former Mossop president before he was allowed to speak. Ask him or ask Gogo. He will tell you the news is there up there.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. We'll get to that point.
You know it more than myself.
Yeah, sure.
But you did say that they're in court, so we'll find out how it's ventured. Because, funny enough, his name is more in the news concerning the issues of Ogoni than who did you say is the president? Who do you say is the president now?
Palap by Ara Palap.
Palap?
I've not heard
yes,
it.
by Ara
That
Palap.
is what I'm saying. His name is rather quiet.
he is not the spokesman of MOSOP. What he's trying to do is to even the president, the immediate past president of MOSOP, whatever you hear his name in the news, he's just trying to support what we are doing.
Okay, all right. Let's leave that for later.
Yeah.
Let's leave for later. Let me get your thoughts, Dawn.
Well, the issue of corruption and the fight against corruption in the country.
And he says it's insignificant according to...
to me, I think it's significant because to an extent, the war against corruption actually started sometimes in around 2012, if I don't mistake. If I'm not mistaken, when the former president Olusegun Obasanjo established the ICPC and the EFCC, and then we have the institutionalization, the fight against corruption was institutionalized in Nigeria. And when those institutions came into place, they have been carrying out some investigations and pursuing some of these issues. To an extent, we have seen over the years that leaders that have held sway at the center as president, some of them to a very large extent had been using the EFCC according to their whims and caprices. But to a very large extent, I am not saying that the current administration is completely out of that kind of issue, because we are still having the issue of the fight against corruption being lopsided. But be that as it may, we have seen some form of seriousness in the Buhari administration, whose tenure is coming to an end in a few days' time and to be sworn in again for a new tenure. We have seen some form of fight against corruption that have yielded fruits in such a way that funds had been recovered. But the issue now is that the funds that are being recovered, has it trickled down to the lives of the ordinary Nigerians to show that the war you are waging against corruption, this is the proceed, and Nigerians are now beginning to enjoy in such a way that they can now continue to support that fight against corruption. We've not seen that, and despite the funds that are being recovered, we see here stories of people and the government going for more funds, borrowing. Why not cascade that money you have recovered from corruption into the fight against corruption? Then we can see that this thing is really working. I also listened to the story of in the newspaper review as I was coming, whereby someone that blew the whistle for the NNPC, millions have not been paid.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there. So you can. But he believes that's also a level of corruption.
Exactly.
If you deny him his money, then you're also being corrupt yourself. All right. Well, Badejo did said that it's insignificant, the fight against corruption, because it hasn't translated into empowerment of the rest of Nigerians and food on the table. Then we also have another caption in the Punch newspaper. NAS coverage, outrage greets satanic guidelines for journalists accreditation. NAS coverage, outrage greets satanic guidelines for journalist accreditation. And we have here, there was outrage on Monday over stringent conditions rolled out by the National Assembly management that would prevent journalists from covering the 9th National Assembly. The management, in a statement by the Director of Information, Emmanuel Agada, in Abuja, said the new guidelines for fresh accreditation will take place today, on the day of inauguration. Groups including the opposition People's Democratic Party, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, and the Nigerian Guild of Editors berated the management of the National Assembly for conditions given for accreditation of journalists. The NUJ said it had given the National Assembly management 24 hours to withdraw the guidelines it described as satanic. The management of the National Assembly had in the statement said permanent and temporary accreditation of journalists will be issued to various categories of journalists currently covering the federal parliament. With the new guidelines in place, the statement explained that all previous accreditation granted to journalists covering the National Assembly will lapse with the dissolution of the 8th Assembly. Some of the 20 conditions listed by the management are evidence of incorporation of the media organization, proof of membership of the NUJ with registration number and code of certification from the National Library of Nigeria. Others are circulation of at least 40,000 newspaper copies daily with evidence to support the claimed figure, evidence of 50,000 daily views on the case of online media, and photocopies of media organizations' tax return for the last 2 years. Other requirements for fresh accreditation are evidence of membership of professional bodies for media organization, a functional bureau in Abuja with staff strength of not less than 5 editorial staff publishing daily and on weekends. The statement added that the recertification form must be signed and endorsed by the Chief Executive Officer of the media organization and the bureau chief or the city editor, as the case might be. The statement read the media organizations concerned must have experience of covering proceedings of the National Assembly for at least 2 years before applying for permanent accreditation. All media organizations will submit a copy of their income tax return for the last 2 years. All online media sites must have been in operation for 5 years and provide satisfactory evidence to this effect with clippings of news utilized, especially parliamentary news. Only television stations with national coverage and specific independent producers with current running program on the National Assembly will be allowed access into the chambers on a permanent basis. All correspondents must attach photocopy of letter of appointment of the media organization on whose behalf a request has been received a grant of accreditation. All freelance journalists seeking permanent accreditation must show evidence of not less than 5 years coverage of National Assembly proceedings, full editorial focus, and publication on parliamentary reportage. It is only journalists and correspondents whose media organizations meet the above requirements for permanent accreditation that will be entitled to carry National Assembly Identity Card membership of the respective press corps. So, Emmanuel, what are your thoughts
I
here?
can now see why they call it satanic. Is if anything were worse, perhaps it would have been tagged that way. I can also understand that by this particular routine of litanies of positions that must be met before covering Nigerian parliament, it looks like it's becoming more difficult to to even cover the Pentagon or the Kremlin than covering Nigerian parliament. So I think what the journalists should do, even the ones they said that National Assembly, national TVs and all that, that will be allowed as on permanent basis, they forget that these people also belong to Nigerian journalists. That's the Nigerian Union of Journalists. Well, I think what the journalists should do as a union is to come up with their own position to blacklist coverage. Even those national television and all of them, let them give them blackout in terms of covering parliamentary activities. Let's see how they will show exactly what is going on in the country. You see, I always tell people that no single individual has violence, no monopoly of violence. Violence is not only when you start beating and then creating tension and all that. Tactically, they leave them, the activities are not recorded, nothing. They will beat a retreat and come back and say, we'll remove all those others.
The NUJ says it is satanic, described the assembly that it was supposed to defend and promote the nation's democracy, that it was gagging it. National President of the Union, Mr. Christopher Izigozu, said the action of the assembly was against the spirit of free press.
In fact, I call it devilish. It's a devilish and unacceptable, barbaric, degrading, unspeakable, and of course, unacceptable conditions for the journalists. Now, these are people that are elected from the nooks and crannies of this country, if ever they merit being called elected National Assembly members, by virtue of what we see and how they got into that place. Now, there is one guideline there that says that they must show proof of covering National Assembly proceedings for the past 5 years or thereabout. If they were asked to show proof that they have been coming to the National Assembly to listen to proceedings 5 years prior to their being elected into that office, as a proof that they can understand how laws are made, would they have been there? They wouldn't have been there. Now we have Freedom of Information Act 2011 in this country that talks about the fact that people should freely be able to access information. And these are people that are representing the people. I think the only thing they would have done is to ask for certificates of registration of these various media organizations, and they allow all of them to cover their proceedings, because there is no single media, be it online, offline, radio, television, newspaper, that the news that they write out is not reaching somebody that the news from others that can meet these other conditions could not reach. And we need to actually be able to circulate information about their proceedings to every Nigerian. So they should open their doors for these people to enter, especially those who have been registered.
All right.
No, the truth is that if they don't want to open,
everybody,
did nobody covers them again? You see them come back and say, we remove the order.
I hope the media could be that united in
That
doing
is
that.
And we expected the 9th Assembly to be better than the 8th. But what we are
No, but
seeing
this
now,
is coming from the 8th. No, it's the 8th that is inaugurating this. The 9th has not come in.
Okay.
So
Is it?
and it's not the. I think it's from the admin of the National Assembly,
which is permanent.
Which
anyway.
is permanent,
Yeah.
yes. Anyway, so they're the ones who. So some people say, well, it's the influence of perhaps what the senators of the 8th Assembly are advising the admin of the National Assembly to do. But I think it's ridiculous. They're asking for things that really has no sense. They're coming to cover the National Assembly, and the National Assembly, they have what they allow on the floor, and there are other issues where they do not want press, where they're going to close doors. So what you allow on the free press opportunities, or when you're on the floor, why do you also want to regulate that? That's the part I find a bit worry.
Exactly.
Federal government invites world leaders to maiden June 12th Democracy Day. You find that story in the Punch newspaper. It says here that the federal government said in Abuja that on Monday it had invited world leaders to the maiden edition of June 12th Democracy Day in Nigeria. Minister of Information and Labour Lai Mohammed disclosed this at the press briefing to mark the commencement of activities slated for the inauguration of the second term of President Muhammadu Buhari. The minister, however, said that Buhari will be inaugurated on May 29th, and the government's Democracy Day activities will hold mostly on June 12th. Nevertheless, he said the 2 days will still be observed as a public holiday in the country. He also said, despite the security concerns, you've been crying that you have a public holiday for your birthday.
Yeah.
He also said, despite the security concerns being raised in some quarters, the country was safe for the celebrations. Manuel.
Yeah, the country is as safe as, this is happening in the capital territory. They'll mobilize all the forces and then protect them. You remember exactly what happened? Was it APC is it, what do they call this gathering? Is it, I've forgotten, what have created problem in APC in Rivers State?
Congress.
Good, Congress. When they had it, the federal one at that, good. Every police, it was as if they channeled them to Abuja, and then they started shooting, bombing at Jos and all the rest of them. And I hope they will understand the situation of the country so that they won't mobilize all the forces down to Abuja for it to be safe. And then while they are there safe truly, and then every other place will be unsafe. So that's the problem. But as for June 12th, May 29th, already they said both days will be public holidays. So what's the difference? If they've decided that the celebrations will be majorly on June 12th, so it will be. But let them be careful about situations elsewhere in terms of security.
Okay, what do you think?
Well, I think the country is safe for world leaders to come and celebrate with us on June 12th. It's a day that everybody had expected, and I am also in support of it being declared Nigeria's Democracy Day, because as it is now, the only pronouncement we are yet to hear from the federal government is to pronounce MKO Abiola posthumous president of Nigeria. But the highest honor in the country has been bestowed on him. So that day should be seen as Democracy Day. And I'm happy that apart from the fact that it is changed from May 29th to June 12th, public holiday is also occurring on that day. And I pray that it continue, because I was almost being robbed of public holiday on May 29th, which is my birthday, and I'm happy about that.
Of course you'll be happy. When I saw your post and I laughed, I said, he's upset because it's no more on his birthday.
Yeah.
He wants a holiday on his birthday.
Yeah.
Well, so far, it seems as if you're going to score a double. You get to have a holiday and still celebrate on June 12th as a holiday. We have now to this day newspaper. INEC withdraws 25 certificates of return. In this day newspaper, Tinubu meets Buhari in Saudi, urges elders to avoid inflammatory statements. Tinubu meets Buhari in Saudi, urges elders to avoid inflammatory statements. Fatona, Nigeria's oil industry will face a drought if militancy continues. Fatona, Nigeria's oil industry will face drought if militancy continues. Zamfara APC crisis, Senator Marafa falls Governor Yari's Saudi trip. Zamfara APC crisis, Senator Marafa falls Governor Yari's Saudi trip. So let's quickly look at some of the stories there. INEC withdraws 25 certificates of return. That's also in this day newspaper. The Independent National Electoral Commission has said it has withdrawn 25 certificates of return issued to some candidates who participated in the 2019 general elections. Speaking yesterday at a forum on media coverage of 2019 general elections held in Enugu, INEC's National Commissioner for Information and Voter Education, Mr. Festus Okoye, said the commission took the action based on court orders. Okoye said 20 of the 25 certificates were withdrawn from members of the All Progressive Congress and given to other APC members, while 2 were withdrawn from members of the PDP and issued to other PDP members. He said 3 were withdrawn from both APC and PDP and given to other political parties. Before we left INEC National Headquarters on Friday, the Commission had withdrawn 25 certificates of return from the first owners to the new owners, following court orders to do that.
They've nailed it, and with acceptance, following court orders. In fact, I was just waiting with interest to hear exactly what they will say is their reason. Now, a court has ordered. That's what we always say, obey court order. There could be a challenge later. So I think INEC is on point. It's just unlike Okorocha zone. I don't
that he
know.
was even issued no court order, there was nothing.
Yes.
And I think what INEC needs to do, even this story of them withdrawing certificate from one person and giving to the other as a result of court order, is what they ought to have done in the case of Okorocha. Issue him his certificate. Allow those who are aggrieved to go to court, and then when the court orders, you take it from him, and not to deny him his rights of getting his certificate of return haven't been elected because somebody somewhere says I pronounce him winner under duress.
In this, I'm thinking, why give certificates if there's a possibility of going to courts? Why don't we leave it till when, at a certain date, maybe you say, look, I think there's a time limit, right? It's 3 months they have.
Yeah, but as far as...
So, yes, there's a winner. You could say you're the winner, fine, but there's no certificate. We're giving that 3 minutes for all litigation, that 3 months for all litigation processes and everything to go on, and then we hand over a certificate to who has been declared winner, and perhaps the court has also said that's the same person. So we're not doing give me back, you take.
Yeah, then I'm also thinking there is a lacuna in the law here. There is a gap that needs to be filled. If there is no law clearly saying that if a person has been pronounced winner by INEC, the person should be issued certificate, and whoever is aggrieved goes to court, and if the court says otherwise, the certificate is withdrawn, then something is wrong somewhere. I don't think INEC can on one hand declare somebody a winner, and on the other hand withhold the person's certificate. I don't think that is very clear.
No, you see, giving of certificate is the insignia of winning. And so if you win, you should
give me my certificate.
That certificate. But whoever is contesting that your victory should go to court.
Exactly.
And if court gives order, like in the case we've just listened to, then INEC should comply with the court order.
Yeah.
Simple.
And INEC now, like in the case of Okorocha that took them to court, I think the last ruling we had was that he should go to tribunal, that the matter is within the confines of the tribunal to handle that, and not the open court. And now, the judgment they have gotten now is from the open court, and I don't think it's tribunal. So this matter is complicated.
All right, moving on. Tinubu meets Buhari in Saudi, urges elders to avoid inflammatory statements. Says here President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday in Makkah, Saudi Arabia, met with prominent Nigerians, including his key ally and national leader of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu. The president's senior special assistant on media and publicity, Maryam Garba Shehu, confirmed this development in Abuja. Shehu quoted Tinubu after an iftar dinner meeting with Buhari as appealing to elderly Nigerians to avoid inflammatory statements that could undermine peaceful coexistence among the country's diverse communities. According to the presidential aide, the dinner was also attended by the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III, the Emir of Kazaure, Dr. Najib Hussaini Adamu, the APC national leader, and joined the citizens to consider the enormity of challenges facing the country and support the president. He also urged Nigerians to rally around Buhari to solve the problems and stabilize the polity. The president worked hard and will continue to do so to ensure peace and stability in the country, which are important for the economy to make progress.
He didn't give us any clue as to the inflammatory statement made by maybe Nigerians. However, I think it's a good advice that people should shun inflammatory statements. And the leadership he's talking about includes himself.
Yes.
So let him also not think that he's away from that leadership.
I support the fact that inflammatory statements should not be made, especially that which hit up the policy. But I do not support the fact that if someone makes a statement criticizing constructively a particular policy or program of government that is aimed at making you be able to give Nigerians good governance, that statement should be seen as inflammatory, especially if it comes from the opposition. I believe they have freedom of speech, and if that statement does not threaten security, it should be looked into and used for governance, for the good governance of Nigeria.
All right, Fatona says oil industry will face drought if militancy continues. The founding managing director of Niger Delta Exploration and Production, PLC, Dr. Lai Fatona, shares his over 40 years experience in the oil and gas industry with Peter Zoho and Esther Oluku as part of preparing 70th ceremony coming up in June. And he says, let me just quickly go back. Let me get to the place where he talks about this particularly. When asked what his take was on gas flaring in Nigeria, he says that gas flaring is one of the things you can say, how come we did it. As a company, we eliminated gas flaring in our small field when nobody would agree to that it was possible. There's absolutely no excuse for gas flaring in Nigeria. The rule to stop gas flaring exists, but it is not enforced. There is a regulator and there is a government that is supposed to drive enforcement. It's a very complex dynamics. Basically, I think there has not been a will on the part of government to enforce the rules that have been established. It is what you see in Nigeria every day. There's a rule that you cannot drive against traffic, but go to Admiralty or Ademola now and you see people driving against traffic. It is part of us not to enforce the rules that we make. And I think there is a self-discipline that rules are meant to be enforced in that particular instance of gas flaring. But as a company, we took that rule, we looked at it, and we knew we could comply with it. And we were much more worried about the consequences of punishment, holding it as a deterrent. Each time we thought about the punishment, the fear of it made us comply with the rules. So imagine if that punishment is implemented all across. I think Nigeria will be a lot better than it is today. He's saying his company was able to tackle gas flaring, and we still see big multinationals still flaring gas today. And it's according to Fatola, he says it's because government is all back, no bite.
Of course. There's no other reason. Government, the law against gas flaring, where does it come from? Is it not from government? They make the law and then they look the other way and allow the law without implementation. So I think I agree with him. And look at his own. He said he was in one of the establishments, and of course his own establishment was able to stop this gas flaring. What was the formula they used? Which means it's doable. Yet Nigerians, and of course government that is behind the law to do so, has not looked into that particular way of implementing that law. So that, well, as for that of saying that there will be drought.
I'll get into that.
Okay.
I'll get there.
Okay.
Let me just hear your thoughts too on this here, where he talks about
I think
gas flaring.
He has raised the fact that his company was able to stop gas flaring when they were operating. I think we need to launch a study into that and ask him on how they were able to do so. Because those who are flaring gas today, they believe that they don't have it's impossible, and they don't have the resources to channel that gas into commercial uses. And where I'm currently working to produce documentary on gas flaring, I've been visiting a lot of sites on the Niger Delta to document. If you see how they are flaring this gas daily, it's something that I think we need to let them understand.
You can
that
imagine how that
to
can channel that into industrial gas
it
or
will
to other
employ
places.
lots of people and create jobs and create resources and funds.
All right. And then when he says, where do you see Nigeria oil and gas industry in the next 50 years? He did speak about exploration, and he says exploration activities have decreased because we don't have substantial risk capital, and exploration activities need substantial risk capital. He says that does not exist. So the reason we're not able to discover new fields is because the size of exploration activities have shrunken over time. And the reason why that has happened is because nobody is spending risk capital. In the days when I worked in Shell, there was substantial budget for exploration year in and year out, because you must find oil to increase reserves. If you do not, you're not just developing the reserves that you have, you'll be depleting your reserves. And I think somewhere along the line, it has greatly become a guiding principle that this country is not spending enough on oil and gas exploration. For him, that's the reason why we don't have new oil fields. And then where do you see Nigerian oil and gas industry in the next 50 years? He says, if militancy continues, there is only one thing that can happen. The industry becomes drought. And I take the case of Ogoni land as an example. See what happened in Ogoni land. In the last 20, 30 years, nothing has happened. So imagine the spread of Ogoni land in Nigeria. In terms of my prediction for the future, government has to create an enabling environment for business and ideas to flourish. If that happens, I would say in the next 50 years, the sector will grow faster than it is today. Manuel.
Militancy is just like a cog in the wheel of progress of oil exploration and, of course, exploitation. So I think Fatona is on point. If it should continue, I think it will only continue if government does not do the needful by trying to look for a way. Because the militants, there is something, perhaps an agreement they reached with government. And it's very dangerous once you reach an agreement and you maybe want to pull out from that agreement without a corresponding agreement for such a pullout. So that's why militancy will continue. And according to the explanations he gave there, it seems he's certainly a technocrat in that oil department. He understands it very well. There is no way you will expect to have more oil fields found or developed if money is not spent along that line. Well, if Nigerian, the oil companies are not spending it, maybe because of one reason or the other, then we get stuck at the threshold where we are, and then we will make improvement along that line. So I think I agree with him. There may be a drought. if militancy continues, if government does not do the needful.
All right, what do you think?
Well, I love the way he puts his arguments and the knowledge he has in this field. But I will fault him in the reference he made to Ogoniland as example of where militancy has led to drought in the oil industry. The stoppage of oil exploration in Ogoniland was not as a result of militancy. I know quite well that in other parts of the delta there have been issues of militancy. But then every part of the country, every part of the Niger Delta where oil is being explored is not going to be a place that will be like Ogoniland that he gave example, because the Ogoni issue was a pure argument for provision of amenities, and then you can go on with this. But then I believe that no matter how he tries to relate militancy to the fact that Nigeria will suffer droughts in the oil sector because of that, I think it's not really working. I think the challenge that Nigeria is going to face is the fact that our economy has not been diversified. We still depend on oil, and the price of oil is crashing every day in the international market. And other world leaders are also diversifying their economy in such a way that they are stopping the usage of hydrocarbon, which they could also buy from Nigeria. So I think if Nigeria does not look for a way to move away from dependence on hydrocarbon and concentrate on other areas like agriculture, diversification into like solar and then wind energy and other sources, then Nigerian oil will be there and they will not get market for it.
You see, I think Fatona is hinging all that he said so much on the ground that we're operating on oil alone as economy. And you see, the angle of Ogoni militancy, because that's what is implicit in what he said. Yes, militancy can not only be the one of pulling gun at people and then shooting them and killing them. There could also be intellectual militancy. And I think I look at Ogoni militancy as walking along that path, because I didn't hear that Ogoni people came killing and disrupting oil and all that. Rather, the true engagement, discussion, dialogue, and of course, all of them coming out with that communal will and saying, no, you won't do this. And for me, it's intellectual militancy, whichever way you look at it.
All right. Okay. But I hear that though, the people of Ogoni are saying we're not opposed to oil exploration. We just need to know how you're going to involve the Ogoni people in this time around.
Strategic consultation and consult with the people.
Which is intellectual militancy.
No, you can call it intellectual militancy, but engage us. But what we are looking at in Ogoniland today is not the resumption of oil exploration, but the cleanup of the mess that has occurred in the area. When that has been done, or at least to an extent, we can talk about the resumption of oil exploration. For now, no, let the oil remain in the soil.
All right.
Leave that.
Okay. Let's move away from that with Fatona to Zamfara APC crisis. Senator Marafa Falls Governor Yari's Saudi trip. A member of the National Assembly, Senator Kabir Marafa of Zamfara Central, has faulted the recent trip of Governor Abdulaziz Yari of Zamfara State to Saudi Arabia. Marafa, who is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Petroleum Upstream, is in a personally signed statement in Abuja, described the Saudi trip of the governor as mischievous. He said the governor's trip, which coincided with the killings of 13 people in Gidan Kaso village in Brenin Magaji local government area of the state at the weekend, was disheartening. It's quite disheartening that Governor Yari and the Emir of Maradun will leave their domain on Saturday, the very day 13 people were killed during Iftar, and bandits refused to allow the villagers to even bury their loved ones. Yari and the Emir decided to abandon them and travel to Saudi Arabia to dine with the president so that he can get undue advantage.
You know, sometimes, Annie, when I hear certain comments, I have never accepted this. I remember vividly when former President Jonathan, after killing that happened in Yobe, whether Potiskum or where, one technical boys college or so. Now, the former president went to Kano, what people tagged Owambe dance and all that for PDP something. I said yes. You see, you can't ground government activities because insurgents struck at Yobe. Now, Buhari traveled. I can't remember exactly what he went for London, 10 days or so. People started saying insecurity everywhere, you shouldn't travel and all that. If Yari were in Zamfara, would he maybe have protected, shielded this 13 person from dying, perhaps with the emir? I know that the head will direct, but Yari has all along been there. We've not heard much about Saudi travel, and people have been dying in Zamfara. I think he has a deputy governor. Or did he go with his deputy? That's where Emmanuel Dukwe will say, no, it was a shoddy display of activity. But I believe, quite frankly, Yari will go to Saudi Arabia and come back. Let the operators of government in Zamfara,
continue,
ably headed by the deputy governor, continue until Yari comes back. That's the way I look at it.
What do you think?
I don't see anything fundamentally wrong with the governor traveling to Saudi when that crisis is on ground. The activities of government cannot be grounded. I know quite well that he has gone there to even pray for his state and for Nigeria. And what he has gone there to do is not entirely out of what he needed to do, because the security situation we are facing in Nigeria and every part of the country today does not only need gun and bullet, we also need prayers to surmount those activities. And I know that the Commissioner of Police is in charge and other security formations within Zamfara State. So I believe that he has given instruction which the deputy governor is going to leverage on, holding the state well till he comes back.
And I'm very sure that because he said he traveled on the very day it happened. So that means there were prior arrangements to travel on that said day.
Exactly.
So it wasn't as if maybe a day after or so. So I'm leaving today. I couldn't have planned that something was going to happen that day before. So I could understand.
And who knows that they even briefed him before he left.
I could understand that angle. Yeah. And the one where, both of you said there are also people in that administration who can still
Government
handle
is a whole system.
Is the deputy governor? Can't he be a governor?
But, again, we have people who need to feel like our leadership is in tune with what we're going through, and have repeatedly felt that these people ignore us during our time of pain.
I don't think so. If there are people who think that the governor is of importance to them and whatever, they should support his administration by trying to live in peace and not doing what they are doing. But now there are those who have taken upon themselves to unleash mayhem on the people. I still know quite well that the governor has not forgotten them. He shares in their pain and their challenges, and is doing everything humanly possible to ensuring that they have a lease and a good lease of life.
All right, we're taking a break now. We'll come back at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. We'll be looking at the news update. And then, of course, we'll continue with opinion poll at that time. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. See you at the top of the hour.
5.1 FM, the voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
All right, 55 minutes after 8, you're listening to Today 95.1 FM, and I have with me Joy Hospital. Joy Hospital, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
All right, so tell us about Odibola.
Okay, well, today I'm here to tell you a little bit about the importance of investing in real estate. Well, why we've been out here telling you every day about investing in real estate, because we have seen the value it brings to people's lives out there. When you walk every day and night, years after years, and you find out that at the end of everything, you have nothing to fall back on. Real estate has been an insurance cover for so many families, because you find out that you've worked, you've done a lot out there, but all you have is the money in the bank. It's so funny when some persons, and it's actually pitiful when you work so hard, because I know I've met some family friends, members like that have worked so hard, and after everything, the money they've saved, they use as much as all of it to go and buy a building. Now, that is not value to that money. There's no value of giving to that amount of money, to that money you've sweat for. It's better for you to save and to invest in that in real estate now than having all of that bulk money into a building, which in the next 2-3 years will decrease its value. Another thing you need to know is the properties around the airport area in the next 2 years will add up their value double times. So if you're coming into investing in real estate, you are never losing it. You're not losing a single dime. What I'm saying is, today, those that take their time to invest in real estate, even with the little time you have, sometimes you could be walking out there, you can send your wife, send your sister, your brother to come see this property and invest for you. Because in the next 2 to 3 years, or in the next 10 years, and you're retired, you have about 10 to 15 plots you can rely on. And this is a measurement of wealth. This is not riches. Riches can just last in just your generation. And sometimes even with just you, it might not even last. But when when it comes to wealth, real estate investment is wealth. Because when you invest in real estate, in the next 2-3 years, these properties add value and you can pass it on to generation. And after even not building on those properties, they are still adding value. Even those you've built from, you're already yielding from them. So if you're buying a property now of 800,000 at the airport environment, and in the next 2 years you're getting a value of extra 800, meaning your property is worth 1.6 million or even 2 million naira. Now that's a beautiful bargain. That's a beautiful deal. You don't want to sit at your home and have that not happening for you. You don't want your neighbor to tell you in the next 5 years that, weren't you there when Odibola was preaching about real estate investment? Don't you know that I had my property then and today I'm yielding from it? Do you want your colleagues to tell you that they've invested and you've not? All you want to do is buy a building that will depreciate in the next 3 to 4 years that you can't even pass on. Please, I urge you today to come and invest in real estate. And that is why we're also giving those that have not had the opportunity to come in bulk to do the pay small package, which is our Skyview layout at Omagwa. We are giving it out on a promo, on a discounted rate, where you pay about 350,000 down payment and you spread the remaining 600 for as long as 4 years. Now that is beautiful. You can't be sitting there for someone else to give you the news. If you're out there and you're hearing it yourself, you have not invested, don't sit and hear it and relax. Tell yourself that this is the time to invest. This is the time to yield from whatever you're making out for yourself. When you invest in this, that 350,000, you have already owned that plot of land. Meaning you can buy more, you can invest in more, and in the next 4 years, you are the owner of about 4 to 5 plots of land, and it's a beautiful deal. So I'm urging you guys to come visit our office at Tombia Extension, Inyawele Stream Layout, GRA Phase 3, or you can just call us on 070-123-645-10. I'll go again with the number 070-123-645-10. You can also text I am interested on the same number 070-123-645-10, or you call the office line on 090-637-88999. I'll call the number again 090-637-88999. Now I'm urging you to come forth, because tomorrow we are going on property inspection where you will see this property yourself. We are not giving you gist. You will see it yourself. There is no waterlogged. It's somewhere you can start developing or you can keep for a period of time. So come now and invest. Just visit our office at Inyawali Insirim Layout, Tombia Extension, GRA Phase 3. We'll be there to attend to you and take you down for inspection tomorrow.
Thank you so much for coming then.
Thank you, Ma.
All right, stay tuned. The news update is next. We'll join the news desk.
Court, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM. Board Harcourt. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's a news update on Today 95.1 FM. I'm Annie Abdul Salam. The Independent National Electoral Commission has announced the withdrawal of 25 certificates of return from some winners of the just concluded 2019 general elections. INEC National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, at a forum on media coverage of the 2019 general elections in Enugu, told newsmen that the withdrawn certificates have been handed to the rightful winners. According to him, 20 out of the 25 certificates were withdrawn from candidates of the All Progressive Congress and given to candidates of the same party. He said some certificates of return may be withdrawn as the court is still deciding on some cases. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Rabiu Hamisu Yadudu as the new managing director of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria. A statement by the Deputy Director of Press and Public Affairs in the Ministry of Transportation, James Adaudu, says the appointment takes immediate effect. Yadudu is to take over from the erstwhile managing director, Saleh Dunoma. Until his new appointment, Yadudu was the director of airport operations of the authority. Rivers State government appears to have reached the last stage in the process of transferring the salaries of the primary healthcare workers from the Local Government Service Commission to the Primary Healthcare Management Board. The president of the Primary Healthcare Workers Association of Nigeria, Daniel Atieme, gave the indication in an interview with our correspondent Chinedu Iwuna. Atieme disclosed that the primary healthcare workers have also received a message from the ICT unit of the Rivers State Civil Service Commission requesting them to provide some personnel details in a portal to enable the government enroll the workers into the state government payment system. And now to the foreign scene, a bus driver has been found hanging on a tree after the bus he drove overturned and killed 8 people in Welcome in Free State, South Africa. Free State Police said the bus was traveling to Upington from Durban when the accident occurred on Alma Road. 7 people were declared dead on the scene of the accident and 1 died later in the hospital. Provincial spokesman Brigadier Motansi Makele said 3 children and 4 females were among those who died in the crash. The driver was discovered hanging on a tree 300 meters from the accident scene with a safety belt from the bus. And that wraps the news update here on Today 95.1 FM. Thank you for listening. To have a good morning.
Are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice.
Written about you is great.
Right Honorable Chubike Rotimi Amechi at 54. A committee of friends of Right Honorable Chubike Rotimi Amechi CON specifically invites you to an evening of hymns and songs in commemoration of His Excellency Right Honorable Chubike Rotimi Amechi CON, Honorable Minister of Transportation of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at 54. Performing artists on that day are Professor Las Ekweme, Music Director, Buchi, Steve Crown, Afeba Choir, Port Harcourt Mill Choir, Uniport and Orchestra, Generation of Praise, and lots more. Venue, Azteca Kum Event Center, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt. Date, Monday, May 27, 2019. Time, 3 p.m. Come and thank God with Right Honorable Chubike Rotimi Amechi CON at 54. Peter Emejuru, KSC, PhD, or call 0803-340-4555 and Mrs. Opem Odose, or call 080-38696-532, and you'll be glad you did.
Say you are great, you are. Worship you today. Everything about you is great.
In the words of renowned management expert Steve Siebold, the fastest way to make wealth is to solve a problem. The bigger the problem you solve, the more wealth you make. Well, that's my way of saying welcome to Raleigh Academy on your radio. Raleigh Academy on Radio is a series brought to you by Raleigh Academy, a company that offers services in online businesses, investments, and financial education for anyone looking for an opportunity or opportunities to create new streams of income. Or you're just trying hard to add a current stream or streams of income. Welcome once again to Raleigh Academy. Well, in today's program, we'll be looking at e-business as leverage to create wealth. And in the studio with me to help enlighten us on this subject of discussion is a certified e-trader and a very successful online entrepreneur with Raleigh Academy. Well, he's a London-trained trader. He studied at the London School of Business and Finance and London Academy of Trading. He also has a certification in technical analysis and FX Wizards in Cyprus. He has over 5 years experience in technical analysis, trading, and coaching. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce my guest, Mr. Michael Akinwale. Glad to have you on the show, Michael.
Thank you so much, Lekon. It's a beautiful day.
All right. We'll take a break now, and when we return, you get to hear all you need to hear from the experts in the studio. Don't go away. All right, you're welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Raleigh Academy on radio, and it's time to hits the nail on the head. Let's start with Mr. Michael. Tell us more about Raleigh Academy and yourself again.
Okay, thank you very much. It's nice to be in the studio today. My name is Michael Akinwale. I'm actually a trader and I'm also an online entrepreneur. And the company I work with, Raleigh Academy, is a global e-business education brand. I have an office in Europe and a rep office right here in Lagos and in Port Harcourt. And the focus of the company is to connect people with inspirational experiences to the opportunities that are available online and also to show them the new age strategies for attaining financial freedom.
All right, I like the word e-business.
Yep.
And the word is getting quite trendy these days.
Absolutely.
Tell us more about it. What is e-business?
Okay, let me break it down very fast. If we take the words apart, we have e and then we have business. That word e means electronic. So when we say e-business, we mean electronic business. And that electronic means anything that is done over the internet. So any business that you do via the internet is actually called e-business. And in Raleigh Academy, there are 4 major businesses that we focus on that we know are very, very trendy right now. The first one is what we call e-trading. The second one is e-commerce. The third one is e-currencies. And the last one is e-services. All these businesses are businesses that can be viable and you can actually do them online right now.
Okay, now we know what e-business is about.
Yep.
Doing business on the internet.
Yep.
There's this crave now. Everyone wants to make money.
Yep.
We want to gather money. How can e-business be a leverage for becoming wealthy, as we saw in the topic earlier?
Okay, now let me first to break down that word leverage. When we say leverage, a leverage is a tool that makes work easier or faster. Just like a car is a motion leverage. It makes you move faster, it makes you move more easily, and it also gives you more pleasure, when you're moving compared to when you're trekking and all of that, okay? So the fact is that when it comes to the internet also, internet is also a leverage. And a lot of us have been enjoying leverage when it comes to internet. For instance, you actually do internet banking, you want to get money, you go to ATM. So the internet is a leverage when it comes to banking. Now, what pains me the most is that a lot of us have been using leverage in several parts, but we're not using leverage for making money. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And actually, the major reason why the internet is designed is actually to be a leverage for money making. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let me run through on some of the points where I think right now the internet is a big leverage for making money. If you check right now, the biggest companies and the richest people in the world are people doing business on the internet. For instance, if you take Jeff Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon. Amazon is an internet-based e-commerce platform. Jeff Bezos is the richest person in the world right now. Now, guess what? He's not just the richest. Nobody has ever been that wealthy in the history of this planet. You know why? The internet. So that lets you know the internet is a very, very powerful leverage. Another way in which the internet gives you leverage is that it allows you to create multiple streams of income very easily, which means you can run several businesses at the same time. Why? They are online. So you don't need office. You don't need to have offices, several locations. And remember, when it comes to actually making wealth, you need to have multiple streams of income. It's been said that an average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So that means to become rich or wealthy, you need to have multiple streams. And guess what? The internet actually gives you that. Another way in which the internet also gives you leverage is the fact that you can reach customers very wide. So instead of selling products only on your street or to your friends or your office, you know what I'm saying? You can sell products in the next state.
Okay.
Apart from state, you can sell to another country. Apart from country, even with the internet now, that's leverage, you can sell to other continents. So you can be in Nigeria and have customers in Canada, customers in America. Why? Internet gives you that leverage. That's one of the reasons why I think right now, if you want to make wealth, then internet must be that your equation.
All right, so internet is a big opportunity now for everyone.
Absolutely.
Now, the question some people ask is, how come some people are successful in doing business on the internet while others are not?
Okay, there are 2 major factors that I think are actually very important when it comes to making money on the internet. And let me run through those factors very fast. The first one is the choice of business. Okay. For me, doing several business online, I can tell you a lot of businesses are a waste of time. They won't make you any money, But at Raleigh Academy, we focus on businesses that will make money. Remember, I told you about 4 businesses that we focus on. We have e-trading, e-commerce, e-currencies, and e-services. Let me break down each of these businesses so that people actually understand what they are, what they mean, and all of that. Now, when it comes to e-trading is the online or electronic buying and selling of financial instruments like shares, commodities, currencies, actually in a bid to make a profit. Now, everybody knows that if I bought dollar at 360 right now, and dollar goes to 400, and I sell that dollar, I've made a profit. Yeah. So that's actually what e-trading is about. Okay. So you're not just trading currencies, you're trading commodities, indices, and all of that. Then we have e-commerce. E-commerce is the buying and selling of physical and tangible products. This is something I'm actually very engaged in also. I actually sell computers online, and I can tell you from selling computers online, I'll be able to make quite a lot for myself. But the beauty of it is that apart from even selling computers, people are selling things you won't believe. You can buy low-cost beans online. You know low-cost beans? Online. You can sell cow, chicken. So a lot of things are blowing up on e-commerce, and people should actually get in. Then we look at e-currencies. E-currencies is the buying and selling of virtual currencies. These are currencies you can never touch. They are all virtual, like Ethereum, Ripple, Stellar, in a bid to make a profit. And some of these currencies are doing some very, very crazy return on investment every year over the internet. And then we look at e-services. E-services is the offering of your service over the internet to create exposure. So for instance now, you're an architect. How can you begin to get jobs in Kano if you're in Lagos, for instance? How can you begin to get jobs in America if you're in Port Harcourt? You know what I'm saying? So from any location that you are, how can you begin to take your service global? That's actually e-services. So those are some of the 4 businesses that Rally Academy, actually teach. And those businesses guarantee that you make money online. The other thing that actually determines whether you succeed online also is the kind of education you are getting. And that's what I'm saying. Okay. If you don't get the proper education, sometimes you might be wasting your time. There's a very, very popular quote by Ellen Keller. It says that good education is the gateway to wealth. So it's not just education, good education. And when I say education, I'm not talking of the kind of school education. I'm talking of the kind of education that Rally Academy is actually offering. Which is why in Rally Academy, we keep organizing the E-Millionaire Conference, which we actually do nationwide, where professionals like myself, we actually sit you down to actually show you the nitty-gritty when it comes to doing business online generally. All right? So let me break it down to you. When it comes to e-trading, we're going to be helping you to open your e-trading account immediately. Then we're going to be looking at commodities trading, indices trading, currencies trading. How do you buy all these instruments? How do you sell them? All right? Using both your laptop, using your tablet, and using your phones. And then what is the best time to buy and to sell? And then tools and strategies that top traders in the world actually use to succeed. For instance, it was when I went to London that I discovered that the most important thing that traders need to succeed are the tools. So at this conference, we're going to be putting in your hand those tools. Then in e-commerce, we're going to be showing you how to start your e-commerce business and start getting some value immediately. If you don't start your e-commerce business properly, you might actually struggle a lot. So at this conference, we're going to be showing you how to start properly. We're going to be looking at different types of e-commerce platform. Then how do you find profitable niches when it comes to e-commerce? Not everything is online, all right? How do you do market analysis to find out what is selling? Then how do you do drop shipping? All of these things we're going to be looking at in e-commerce. Then in e-services, how do you structure your online business properly when you're putting it online, all right? Then how do you dominate in Google search? You see, this is not a gamble. There are specific strategies that you actually implement online to actually dominate in Google search. All this I'm going to be showing you. Then how to maximize social media. Social media is not a joke. It's actually for making some valuable income for yourself. You can even actually become social media marketing consultant. All these things we're going to be showing you how to do at this conference. I'm going to guarantee you can't remain the same.
Well, this sounds like high-level teachings that you were giving at that
Absolutely.
event. Absolutely. What does it cost to be a part of this event?
Actually, the event is free. Normally, when people attend my event, like, Mike, this is the best event I've ever had. Even events that I paid for, I've not gotten this kind of value. So normally this event should cost you like 50K, but guess what? It's free of charge. And guess what? As long as you are interested in making money or adding to your stream of income, you buy this event. So you can be a business person, an employee, an investor, a retiree, a job seeker, a housewife. Even if you're not computer literate, if you're a computer literate, you can be at this event. Why? Rally Academy will also give you some appraisal courses on how to use computer. So anybody can attend this event, and guess what? It's absolutely free of charge.
All right, free of charge, and there's no restriction. All you need is just a willing heart to be a part of the event.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get the dates, the time, and the venue for this expo, and how can participants register?
The conference will be taking place for 2 days right here in the city of Port Harcourt. 2 very, very powerful days, man. You can't afford to miss it. And you don't have to be there for the 2 days. Just pick one of the days to be there. And the dates the conference will be taking place is Thursday 23rd and Friday, the 24th of May 2019. Let me tell you again, Thursday 23rd and Friday, the 24th of May 2019. And on these 2 days, the time will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. From 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So 3 hours of very, very life-changing time. The venue of the event on these 2 days will be at L.A. Kings Hotel. L.A. Kings Hotel. The address is 31 Stadium Road, opposite First Bank, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. L.A. Kings Hotel, 31 Stadium Road, opposite First Bank, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. Very popular place. You cannot miss it. It's also very important that you register to be at this event so that we at Rally Academy will know you're coming, and then we can prepare for you. And to register is very simple. All you need to do is send an SMS to your phone number, and then your seat will be reserved. So take your phone right now. Let me show you how to register. If you want to on the first day, which is Thursday, the 23rd of May 2019, send an SMS with the word PH1. PH is short for Port Harcourt. And the number one to this phone number, 0708 955 5992. And that phone number again, 0708 955 5992. If you want to attend on the second day, which is Friday, the 24th of May 2019, send an SMS with the word PH2. That's PH for Port Harcourt, and the number 2 to the same phone number, 0708 955 5992. And that phone number again, 0708 955 5992. So send the word PH1 or PhD to that phone number, and your seat is that to be at this event. And we're at Academy. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
All right, interesting. So all you need to do is just register to be at the event.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Now, what else should participants look forward to at this expo?
Okay, now this is what we normally do. Raleigh Academy, we believe so much in education, and we believe education doesn't stop. It's a continual process. So at this event, we're going to be putting in your hand an educational DVD, which you can use to keep learning about these businesses at home. And guess what? This DVD costs a lot of money, but we're going to give it for free. But it's only free for the first 100 people to register. So just take your phone right now, begin to register. Why? The first 100 people to send an SMS to the phone number we said will be getting that DVD. The second thing we're going to be giving at this event, a bonus of 125%. Normally, we don't give this kind of bonus, but we only give it at the conference, all right? And that bonus of 125% is equals to at least 125,000 naira, which participants can actually pick up at the expo to start their e-trading business, all right?
Well, this is absolutely mind-blowing.
Absolutely.
A free event with a lot of freebies attached to it.
Absolutely.
Well, I wonder why anyone would want to miss this. All right, let's run through the dates and venue of the expo and how participants can register to attend.
The conference will be taking place for 2 days right here in the city of Port Harcourt. 2 very, very powerful days, man. You can't afford to miss it. And you don't have to be there for the 2 days. Just pick one of the days to be there. And the dates the conference will be taking place is Thursday 23rd and Friday, the 24th of May 2019. Let me tell you again, Thursday 23rd and Friday, the 24th of May 2019. And on these 2 days, the time will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. From 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So 3 hours of very, very life-changing time. The venue of the event on these 2 days will be at L.A. Kings Hotel. L.A. Kings Hotel. The address is 31 Stadium Road, opposite First Bank, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. L.A. Kings Hotel, 31 Stadium Road, opposite First Bank, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. Very popular place. You cannot miss it. It's also very important that you register to be at this event so that we at Raleigh Academy will know you're coming, and then we can prepare for you. And to register is very simple. All you need to do is send an SMS to your phone number, and then your seat will be reserved. So take your phone right now. Let me show you how to register. If you want to attend on the first day, which is Thursday, the 23rd of May 2019, send an SMS with the word PH1. PH is short for Port Harcourt. And the number one to this phone number, 0708 955 5992. And that phone number again, 0708 955 5992. If you want to attend on the second day, which is Friday, the 24th of May 2019, send an SMS with the word PH2. That's PH for Port Harcourt, and the number 2 to the same phone number, 0708 955 5992. And that phone number again, 0708 955 5992. So send the word PH1 or PH2 to that phone number, and your seat is that to be at this event. And we're at Raleigh Academy. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Michael Akinwale, for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
We seriously appreciate. Now, remember, knowledge is power, and all you need to do is just get the knowledge, put it to practice, and it will give you as much wealth as possible. Until next time, when Raleigh Academy on your radio comes your way, it's bye for now.
Been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Today is here. Yesterday is gone and unrecoverable. Tomorrow, you don't know what it holds, right? You have today. Yes, you heard me. You have today. The indisputable truth is that today is pregnant with both good and bad. You have freely been given today as a gift to see what you will make out of it. Permit me to be positive. Permit me to sideline the negative and magnify the good. Permit me to espouse on today. Today is great. Today is wonderful. Today is targetable and targets can be achieved. Today is domineering and you can be dominant. Today is a conqueror and goals can be conquered. Today is challenging and you can challenge yourself for the better. Today is cheerful. You can choose to be happy. Just in case you're sulking, saddened and feeling sorry for yourself. Enough of the wallow in self-pity. You have today. I mean today. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. Take that step today. Opportunities are everywhere. Just be sensitive. Build on yourself and get ready for the opportunity.
Be the best you can be today, because I see the sun smiling on you. This message is powered by Today
95.1 FM.
Voice of the people.
Opinion poll on today's quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we are talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues raised.
Amin Potakat says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the PDP. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Today
95.1 FM.
or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962.
and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM from 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
you don't wake up one day and say, okay, this policy is working, and then you expect it to crash the market in the next.
Cassava variety that takes 7 months. Do they know it or they don't?
What's the beginning?
Because you can see they are involved.
They are involved, true.
So how can you solve it? What will stop it? They're involved. Look at 1.20 billion special allowance, 1.2 billion special allowance, padding of budget, 4 billion, this billion, 400 billion. How can they stop
Hello,
it?
good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, what's your name?
Yeah, this is Mr. Zion. I'm calling from Port.
All right, Zion, go ahead.
I think I totally disagree with the man.
Today's Quests with Annie.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Talk radio.
I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
After 9, you're listening to Today 95.1 FM. It's time for Opinion Poll. And for Opinion Poll, we're taking a story from the Punch newspaper that has a caption: militants threaten to declare Niger Delta Republic June 1st. A militant group network of Niger Delta Republic fighters has threatened to declare a Niger Delta Republic on June 1st, 2019. In a statement on Monday, the group said they were not happy with the situation in Nigeria. The statement by the Director of Information of the group, Maxwell Dan, alleged selective maltreatment of the people of the region by Muhammadu Buhari administration. If it listed police invasion of the residence of the Niger Delta leader, Chief Edwin Clark, last year, and current ordeal of the ex-Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, as part of the selective maltreatment of Niger Delta people. The statement read, "It's quite unfortunate that the story has not changed till today, and we're standing on that declaration. We're standing on the declaration of the sovereign state of Niger Delta, and we will declare Niger Delta Republic on June 1st, 2019. It is a common fact that Nigeria has completely derailed from the path of peace, justice, and progress as proclaimed by its founding fathers." It added, as that could not pay off, they remove a Niger Delta son, Mr. Matthew Siafa, the most qualified director of DSS, without any due process. Not satisfied with his cruel and selective onslaught against the Niger Delta people, they plotted again and removed our son, Justice Walter Onogen, from office on frivolous allegations without following due process. Neither was he given an opportunity of fair hearing. It's also unfortunate that after 4 years of this administration, there is no single viable project executed by the federal government in Niger Delta, despite the billions of naira accrued to the government from the resources of the Niger Delta as a result of the ceasefire in the region. The group also decried killings in the country, lamenting the government has not been able to protect its citizens. It said the blood of innocent citizens is becoming alarming. It is clear that the government cannot protect the citizens. Instead, they continue to make unguarded statements without recourse to the safety of the people. It is common fact that the country is under siege and we cannot allow it to consume us. So June 1st is when they set aside to declare a Niger Delta Republic, this militant group network of Niger Delta Republic fighters. They say the leadership of the country have been unfair to the Niger Delta people, especially that of Muhammadu Buhari. And they said that they have seen in recent times a selective picking of the people for marginalization. Spoke about the residence of the Niger Delta leader that was invaded last year, the current ordeal of the ex-Chief Justice of Nigeria. And then they're saying this for them shows that they need to declare a republic for themselves so they can take care of their own. Emmanuel Dunduku, let me start with you.
Well, I think this kind of issue, I have said it earlier on, that you see, if you see anybody who is agitating, he must have a reason. Perhaps there is an agreement you reached with that particular individual, which you are not methodically following. And the person makes every effort to reach you, to remind you of the agreement, and maybe you are looking elsewhere. not listening to the person will take offense, because I have said it severally. No individual has monopoly of violence. And violence is not only practical violence of killing and shooting and kidnapping and all the rest of them. Now, oftentimes militants have been coming out to threaten declaration of Niger Delta Republic or whatever. They have outlined their reasons this time round, stating about the invasion of Chief Clerk's house, Onogen's case, CFA of DSS, and all the rest of them. But the catalog may not be exhausted even if we continue, because there are a lot of issues. As they are complaining, other sides across the country have also their own catalog, which might not be in their own favor. But I believe that federal authorities themselves have heard this, because it's a serious issue. And they also should accord it the seriousness it deserves by perhaps sending its agents to negotiate, to listen to these people. Because I am one person who believes that you cannot, just somebody could come out and say, I am going to do you this. And he said you cannot do anything. Once you say that, even if the person turns around and then spits on you, he has done something. It starts from there. So let federal government not say that they don't have the apparatus of coercion and all that, and so they won't listen to these threats of the militants. Let them discuss with them. Because peace, where there is peace, you see progress, you see success. If they ignore them, on June 12th, they declare the Niger Delta Republic, and they come with the military power after them, even though it's expected that the national military will win the war, but there won't be peace, both in Abuja and in the Niger Delta. So, to ward off such problems, let them discuss with them. Nothing has gone wrong. They could be ironed out and peace will return.
All right. Okay, let me get to you, Fine Face, the millionaire. Fine Face.
I think as one of Niger Delta sons and one of Niger Delta advocates, and of course one of the leaders of what we do here, I think I support issues that has to do with the Niger Delta and the struggle for the emancipation of the Niger Delta and its people. This particular call now is a welcome development, but to an extent, I don't support the issues they have put at the forefront as the premise on which they want to take the action. The fact that Edwin Clark's house was invaded, the fact that we have Onogen sacked, and the fact that we had the head of DSS removed also from the Niger Delta. I think these are not the key problem of the Niger Delta people on which we need to premise our action to declare Niger Delta Republic. If you tell us that the federal government entered into a kind of discussion with the Niger Delta people, that they were going to establish a kind of industrial park in the Niger Delta, they have not done so. If you talk about the pollution in the Niger Delta that they have not cleaned up, we can look at that. If you talk about the 16-point agenda that was pushed, we can look at those issues. If you look at the issue of, the sacking of OD, and of course the right abuses in OD, and the one in Ogoni land, and the one on other parts of Niger Delta, and you talk about the invasion of the military of Baramatu Kingdom, and you talk about other issues we are talking about resource control in the Niger Delta, whereby the Niger Delta is the place that the resources comes from, and we have not gotten the commensurate development here, and you put all these issues together, then you are really pushing issues. And then when you articulate all this on paper, well, there are different kinds of militancy, those who carry guns, those who use intellectual powers to fight, and all the rest. Consult people. Come to the Ogoni, talk to them. Go to the Calabari, talk to them. Go to the Job people, talk to them. Reach out to people. Let us come in one accord and then push one agenda. Then we can achieve it. If we have this group as they are going about it now, and others have not buy into that agenda, the agenda may not go far. We need to come up with a particular point and struggle that everybody will buy in and everybody will support, and the federal government will see that the Niger Delta people are out here and they will begin to do something. We have a lot of reports that have been commissioned on the Niger Delta. We have the Whaling Commission report. We have the Leduminte Technical Committee on the Niger Delta. We have different kinds of reports that have been released on the Niger Delta that are not being implemented. We also have the NDDC master plan for the Niger Delta that they are not getting enough funding to be able to push. All these things, we should put them together and put them on the table before the federal government. This is, today's date is just, 20, talking about just a few days to June. Okay, this is, Tuesday, 21st day of May. We have just about 11 days to June 1 that they want to declare this Niger Delta Republic. What time do you have to plan? What time do you have to let others buy in? What time do you have to give the federal government enough time to even respond to the issues? Bureaucratic bottlenecks that, put these issues out, reach out to people, then you put it on the table. And I think they will listen to what you are saying. But the issues they are premising this thing on, I think is not really very good. So I will ask them, why not wishing away what they have said? Ask them to pipe low on the June 1. Go out and consult people, put other issues that are very strong, then put it on the table for federal government, give them time to respond. We need development in the Niger Delta. We need employment in the Niger Delta. We need the Niger Delta that is producing the wealth of Nigeria to have 50% of the wealth that is coming from this area for the development of the Niger Delta. And all the commissions that have been put in place, from Niger Delta Development Commission to the Ministry of the Niger Delta Affairs and other institutions, and the amnesty program, they should all be well funded to develop the Niger Delta so that we can be able to have the benefit from this area. Then putting all the lapses in these institutions together is enough to talk about what you are saying. But where they have premised the issue, I have a little problem with that.
All right. Okay, we got your thoughts on that. We also have joining us Chief Lovedale Kerry. He is a political analyst. Chief Lovedale Kerry, good to have you here with us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, Chief Lovedale, let's hear you.
Yeah. Sorry that I wasn't here during the newspaper review.
That's okay.
It's a result of the usual circumstances.
That's all right.
Yeah. So, on this particular issue, I am with them. I'm a Niger Deltan, I'm a Rivers man, and I'm a stakeholder. I have also given enough to federal government. I have lost enough and benefited almost nothing as a Rivers man, as a Niger Deltan. So I say, for any agitation that is peaceful, that we do, no agitation or nothing comes so easy, may not be totally peaceful, but I will not always subscribe to anything that will spill blood. So I am totally with the agitators from Niger Delta for so many reasons. But where I don't get it here, Fine Face have raised the issue somehow. It's when you try to personalize their fight. Let them go back to drawing board and remove the issue of Onogen. Onegon has a matter in court. He's facing his trial. Let him prove his innocence there. Edwin Clark's matter that happened last year. Federal government came clear and apologized on behalf of whatever that must have happened that time. So I think that must have ended that matter. So the other one that has to do with the DSS, that one shouldn't bother us. Even if 10 persons in Niger Delta today is made DSS directors, it will not change, it will not give us development that is required. So for me, a lot has to be done in Niger Delta. One, June 1st that they said there is not feasible. I'm sure that if we're talking about Niger Delta is not all about the job struggle. It's not all about the Ogoni struggle. It's not all about a Calabari struggle or Kerika or Eche. It should be holistic. The people that are concerned, that are driving the process now, should drop their arms first. They shouldn't come with arms first. They should make wide consultation. They should come to Eche and consult us. I'm from Eche. I have oil wells surrounding me all over my backyard, and I do not have anything to show for it. Okay, so enough is enough in this country. The only problem I have is that even the little that is given to Niger Delta, they are also messing it up. Go to NDDs and see what is happening. So that is where I get the problem. The little that will come to Niger Delta, the few ones that are opportune to have control over it, we mess it up, and it looks as if that all of us are fools. So for me, any agitation that is coming up now, in as much as it's going to follow the international rule of engagement, I'm for that. They should suspend the date yet. Come down to the roots. They should consult with all of us. We will all join hands and make sure that Niger Delta is developed. All that is required is given to us. Can you imagine? You can't imagine where we'll have oil producing you have gas flaring, water pollution, air pollution going on day and night. There is no single clinic. There is no primary health care within that area, and the people are dying on their numbers on daily basis. The so-called oil exploration companies are there exploiting this oil day and night. Money is going to Abuja. No wonder they said the closer you are to the oil wells, the poorer you are. The money is flowing over there, and people here are dying every day. So for me, any agitation that, even if it means whatever they are talking about, in fact, there is nothing to declare about Niger Delta Republic. Niger Delta is already there. It has been declared long ago. It is not official. But if it is official too, let it be. Let it be. Because enough is, we cannot continue to live like this. We can't continue. Where you're supposed to have a good road, you don't have a road. No hospital for you to go and take care of yourself. No good school. Electricity is zero. So why are we called oil producing community? But tomorrow the oil will dry and we'll fall back to people will fall back to go and start digging their goats and agriculture. Then we'll have lost the little one we have here. So for me, I am in total support of any agitation for development in Niger Delta. Thank you very much.
Okay. We have joining us to Professor Chief Andrew Oefemini, Department of Philosophy, University of Port Harcourt. Good to have you with us. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
So, June 12th is when this militant group says they will declare a
12th or 1st?
June 1st, sorry, I beg your pardon. Okay, just before the Democracy Day. They will declare Niger Delta Republic because they believe they've been marginalized and hounded, particularly by this government.
Well, I work for the federal government, so I don't know whether I can speak on a vexatious issue as fighting or granting self-rule by any section of this country. I am a believer in Nigeria. I don't have sympathy for secessionist agitations. But what I know is that the Nigerian state is very troubled. The agitators have a right to spot out and to point out anomalies confronting the Nigerian state. I personally believe in a larger Nigeria. There are moments that you get angry, you want to think like somebody who believes in disintegration, but those moments don't reflect my inner feelings. Because the consequences of disintegration are too grave to contemplate. There will be resistance and counter-resistance to agitation, leading to shore war and all that. So we have crossed the line where those things really, except they are done with maximum enlightenment. What do I mean? You prepare people consciously through civil activities, and then the thing becomes the dominant thinking all over through signatures and all that to United Nations. It becomes just like what is happening in Spain. But if you're just going to wake up, we will declare Duduwa Republic, we will declare Biafra. You're simply telling soldiers to come and start killing people, and so we should be careful. But like my friends here have said, I have written severally about the Nigerian question and the Niger Delta challenge. I know that what we have in Nigeria is not federalism, and that's the source of the problem. Once we decide to put federalism in place, the Niger Delta and other regions will be better off. Other regions will then, get their potentials together, and then they rise. There's no group of people that don't have the possibility and potential of becoming self-reliant at the level of higher levels of civilization. But what has happened is that since 1914, development has taken the backstage, has always taken the backstage in Nigeria, leaving the people frustrated, angered, agitated, rebellious, disdainful of the state, And those things are now beginning to lead to one crisis after the other. One crisis after the other. Yesterday also, I heard people talking about people issue statements saying, tit for tat, will do me, I do you, and all sorts of things. And I was saying, oh God, we are almost, the state of nature thing I was talking about has finally come. You know, people have decided to resort to self-help to overcome what they perceive to be threats to their existence. So our challenge is to create a Nigeria where people use the resources in their environment, not necessarily as owners. And I want people to understand clearly that federalism is not about where people come from. Federalism is about where people live.
Reside.
Yes, where people reside. So federalism is about people control resources where they live, because citizenship must go with movement within a country. In fact, one of the things that accompanied the American Constitution was the Bill of Rights, because people were worried about discrimination, lack of free movement and all that. It was not granted. Every American is an American anywhere. And naturally, people will want to go to where they have comfort and all that. So I'm not going to come here and begin to talk like an Urubu man, an Igbo man. By my level of education, those things mean less to me now. You know? So people should use the environment. Let me just use Ogoni, for example. The more you look at Ogoni, the more you know that Nigeria needs to move fast. They're not drilling the oil. The economy is not changing. Their living conditions is not changing. They're stuck since 1995, for example. That cannot continue. And they don't want to also give it out or relate to this Nigerian state the way it is. So something has to give way. We should all unite and know that the problem we have is that we have a bad Nigerian state. There's no problem in Nigeria. Boko Haram, kidnapping, there's none that you mentioned that is not linked to the fact that we don't have proper federalism. If you have proper federalism, police will be managed properly, the universities will be managed properly, agriculture will be managed properly. All this resource stealing and agitating. I told people that Nigeria is a big thief, and people are using it to do advertisement.
Yes.
Nigeria is a big thief. When you come to oil money, carry away people's oil money, send to Abuja and distribute to states, and they pay salaries. All those salaries, they are stolen money. They're not the money of your business. You shouldn't be there. You should receive tax just like you receive from others and spend. So we have a centralized structure which needs to be decentralized. So what we need to do is to properly educate our people that a stronger, better governed Nigeria that can compete internationally with all countries, where people manage their environment for their own interests, not as indigenous, but as Nigerian citizens. There's a Nigerian I know. He said cannot live anywhere again more than other than just because of the weather. I'm telling you. But he's an Igbo man. That's what we want to see. We want to see national integration and all that. Now, let me on a very funny note. This Niger Delta that we're talking about will be the last to be democratic, because the word democracy is very hostile within the environment of Niger Delta. In fact, we're authoritarians.
How do you mean?
Yes, how I mean.
Yes, how do you mean?
Power flows from cabas in the Niger Delta. Gun trotting, heavy, solid cells. In fact, I'm not even sure Niger Delta can be democratic without Nigeria forcing it to be democratic. So we should be careful. Well, people don't create the impression that Niger Delta is about to be like America.
I mean,
okay.
Looking at what these guys now are putting on the table, it's a food for thought for everybody. I know quite well that apart from the fact that it's been published in the national dailies, the president of Nigeria has representatives in all the states in Nigeria that gather information and remit information to the presidency. They have that. They should let them know that the people here are demanding for development. And what they have put on the table now is just like what is in the Bible, where Matthew 11:12 talks about the fact that the kingdom of heaven suffered violence and violence taking it by force even now. So whatever it is, I think they are pushing. They shouldn't see the statement they have made that they are going to declare Niger Delta Republic as the main thing. They should look at the issues that have been raised. And I know that the issues they have raised, which I have also faulted, while supporting whatever they want to do, I am thinking that those three key things they pointed at are political issues. The fact that we want to have a Niger Delta Republic or want to have development in the Niger Delta should not be premised on political action, especially in the appointment of persons or actions of government in that direction, but should be looked at in terms of resources, relationship between federal government and resources. In fact, look, when you are flying from outside the country into Nigeria, you start seeing darkness. As you fly from Abuja or Port Harcourt, Lagos Airport into Port Harcourt, which is the gateway of the core Niger Delta states, you see more darkness. As you come down into the vehicle and you are driving home, you know that you are in trouble. That is as bad, how bad the system is.
And for someone coming back from California, I can imagine. I can imagine how this disparity will be so
they
glaring.
Do everything they can to develop this
I think one of the arguments too that I agree with from Prof is that underdevelopment is pretty much a Nigerian prototype. We have that everywhere. I don't think there's any part that will say, oh, we have developed, or we have been able to enjoy this much and therefore have broken our bounds. That the main problem with the system is the system, as it were. And if the system can be fixed, every part will be able to develop. So, but I understand the Niger Delta course, because obviously for the people who believe that it's from our bowels that we have the nation surviving, we might think that there's something that should be accrued to us, especially if that's not the case. Then why do we have to be part of the system, as it were? I'll get to you, Emmanuel.
Okay.
No, you go ahead, Emmanuel.
I listening to my friend Fine Face. It seems it doesn't endorse the positions of these particular militants.
Yes.
But I tell you that disagreements, or if you like, what you may say grievances, exist in varieties. They've chosen the political side of it. Now, if you watch the way Seifa was removed, you will fault it, even though it's federal government that will bring up somebody. But you will think, why was he removed in that way? So on that ground, the thing is predicated on marginalization. Now, remember that these people did not come up. The only side that looks like, yes, they are looking for autonomy is saying Niger Delta Republic. But they are not talking about all these things you were mentioning are part of the marginalization. All of them. None. The other ones they mentioned are not less than the ones you mentioned. Because they feel that you have taken our resources. Yes, resources. I've said it in nature. If you grow up and you see orange that has come out from the ground, it belongs to you in that particular area. No other person will come from another compound and be taking it. So they have a right to their resource. But we are not practicing a system that will allow them to have it. Yet, they are groaning on the weight of this particular one, that they are not giving what is due them. You also come at the political space where they believe they own together. You remove their own in a way they feel suspicious about. They have a right to cry. But the only thing I'm thinking is that the right way will always be to move to that center and discuss with the center first, where the center insists that there's nothing good that will come your way. You can be talking about annoyance. You remember what I said, that no part of this nation, all these things they mentioned, that the list is inexhaustible. And so it is with all other regions across the nation. I said so. And that is the way it is. But if their own has reached where they'll come up with maybe Declaration of Republic, let them remember that in a twinkle of an eye, they could be branded, what do they call that? Like
militant.
No, the IPOB. They could be proscribed. So
Right.
you have to be careful.
Okay, you wanted to say something, Chief Lofty?
Yes, and without undermining the power of federal government, where all of us belong to now, I want to disagree, maybe for the first time, with Prof and you, where you say that since 1914 we have lived with this underdevelopment all this while. Yes, it's true we have lived with underdevelopment, but yet if you go to Nigeria, there are some areas that are also very developed than others. But